All right, I'm starting off by blocking in some shapes, which is how I usually do things. This is no exception. So I'm in progress in this drawing now, and hopefully the camera is able to see some of what I'm doing. I realize that I'm drawing extremely lightly. I'm just barely touching the paper at all with this pencil. As I go through, I'm just very quickly blocking in where everything ought to be. And that's what I've been working on here. It's almost like creating a map for myself. I map out where things should be and what size things should be and how it should look, what position things ought to be in. And then I'll go back through and I'll make it much more finished of a drawing. What you're seeing now is just extremely sketchy work. It's just, kind of having fun and figuring out where stuff ought to be. And then I'll go through and fix it up. The pencil I'm using here initially is a Mephisto mechanical pencil. It's made by Koh-I-Noor. Mine is a 0.5 millimeter lead. I use that pencil all the time. It feels great in my hand. It's got a certain weight to it and balance to where when I'm drawing with it and sketching, it just feels really good, and I feel like I have a lot of great control over that pencil. And so I use it all the time. I have 3 or 4 of them just like that. I have one in my office. I have one at home, carry one with me. I'm always ready with that pencil to draw something. It's a great pencil to sketch with, and I highly recommend it. Again, it's called Mephisto, and Koh-I-Noor makes that pencil. It's really the best mechanical pencil I have ever used. I'm using a different one now, as you can see, and I'm going over some of what I blocked in initially, creating the eyes. The eyes are very important to this drawing. I'll show you the pencil here in just a second, but for the moment, I'm fixing drawing problems that I created in the first place and making the ones that I thought were correct darker and more prominent so you can see them. Lots of times I think that's the job of the artist, is to fix problems that you've already created for yourself. As a great example, I'm doing it right now. As I look at this drawing, her face is kind of flat looking, and her eyes are almost look like they're cross-eyed. It's not quite what I wanted, but I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to show you how. Her chin kind of sticks out a little bit further than I wanted, which kind of contributes to that flat face kind of a look here that I didn't really want. But again, the job of an artist is not so much to get it perfect every time, but to go through and recognize where things need to be touched up, and then to do that. Go through and fix your drawing problems as you go. That's a big reason that I started off drawing as lightly as I did with that mechanical pencil, is I'm just finding where stuff ought to be, and then as I go over with a darker pencil, that's the time to go through and work out details and make things the right size, make things look the way that they're supposed to look. So you don't have to do that in the first place. It's all just sketching and having fun and laying down the image and then going back and working out the details of it and making it look a lot better. That's what I do anyway. Back of her head comes around. She's got a lot of hair. Wonderful hair. I want it to drape over this shoulder. So I'm going to make some of the curls of it go down on both sides of her shoulder. Lots of hair to work out here. I don't want to draw individual strands of hair. That's not how you do it anyway. The hair doesn't look that way. As you're drawing hair, the best way to do it is to do it with shapes. That's what hair ought to be, a big shape. If I tried to draw every individual hair, it really would look like she has spaghetti hanging off of her head. And that's not what I want. I want it to look like hair. So the way to do it is just to make shapes out of some of the shading that I'm doing. And it's going to look like much more realistic, good hair, rather than having some weird drawing problem, as if she has spaghetti hanging off of her head or whatever. That's just one of the tricks I learned throughout the years of drawing and drawing and drawing, trying to figure out how to draw hair. It's not easy. Hair is a very difficult thing to do. But if you do kind of minimum work on it and just focus on shapes and shading and highlights, you can make it look believable. You can make it look like you want it to look. Her costume here, I'm trying to kind of think about this as I go. Trying to remember exactly how that looks, and I'm not sure I remember it exactly, but I'm going to give it a shot here. This is just a sketch all for fun. And if I don't get it right, I don't get it right. I can either do it again or move on and do some other thing. This pencil that I'm using is a Woodless graphite pencil made by Koh-I-Noor. This is what the package looks like. This comes in 12 different pencils in the package that I have. And it's just a magnificent pencil to draw with. It's pretty amazing that it's woodless. It's graphite. And gives you a beautiful tone. The paper I'm drawing on is a Bristol board made by Koh-I-Noor. And they have a couple of different kinds of papers. One of them is a smooth surface Bristol board, which I use all the time. And then there's a vellum surface Bristol board, which I also use all the time. Actually, I think I use the vellum one more often than I use the smooth one. They're both tremendous surfaces, and if you use them both, you kind of get a feel for what the differences are. I can tell you a little bit about the differences. The vellum surface is a little bit softer, so when you're dragging your pencil across it, you can just feel more of a softness on it. It's just a wonderful feel if you like sketching and just being very loose with your pencil. Then the vellum might be the one for you. If you're doing much more hard lines and inking, where you put a black ink line over everything that you've drawn, then the smooth surface might be the one for you. But I encourage you to try them both and just see which one feels better to you based on what it is that you like to do. I personally love to just make sketches and just be loose and not very detailed, just light and loose with my sketching. So I tend to want to use the vellum surface, but either one's good. Again, the one that I'm using right now for this video is the smooth surface, and it just makes a tremendous drawing. The page of Bristol is a very bright white color, and when you put this woodless graphite on top of that bright white color, your drawing just shines. You almost get the feeling that it's going to glow in the dark. It doesn't glow in the dark, but it just kind of gives you the feeling that it would. It's such a nice look once you lay down that pencil on top of the Bristol. As you can see here, I've gone through and I keep correcting things that I've already drawn. I keep going back into that hair and making it look better. I went to her eyes several times now throughout this drawing and made them a little bit darker and shaped them a little bit better than what I had in the first place. Make them look a little bit more reasonable, more realistic, I guess. And her face is less flat than it was in the first place. Here, I'll go ahead and give a little bit more shadow around her eyes, as if she has maybe slightly thicker eyelashes than what I had given her in the first place. I think that'll help. Of course, she's Wonder Woman, and I think Wonder Woman ought to be beautiful, so I'm going to try and make my drawing as beautiful as I can. I'll work on these eyes with the eyelashes in a little bit greater detail than on any of the rest of the drawing. Yeah, there we go. Take a look at that. See, isn't that better than when I first started off? When I first laid down that stuff with the mechanical pencil, this is better. And that is how we do it.